What up, guys? It's your boy Illy, and with the current Moogle event, the popularity in Rival Wings has increased. And I've been asked a few times now if I would make a quick guide on what the fuck to do in Rival Wings, and we're gonna do that. So we're gonna just do like a Illy style video where we're just gonna kind of like go through things really quickly, and then we'll discuss some other things while watching some gameplay. And I think that'll be some it should help, right? We should be able to help you guys out here. So let's start with fuel. Fuel is good, right? Let's pick up these fuel tanks, and then that helps, you know, build our fuel meter, which ultimately gets to us our mechs. Defending your core, you could use this cannon, and then these are the mechs. We got the Cruise Tracer, the Oppressor, and the Brute Justice. Cruise Tracer kills people and helps kill mechs. Oppressor kills towers, and Brute Justice does a little bit of both. These little Viking assholes, they do lots of damage to your tower. You want to kill them, but they also give you a little bit of fuel after killing them. Anytime you see enemy mechs, you want to make sure that they become your priority focus, because they're assholes, and you want to make sure that they don't get to be assholes no more. Also, you want to defend your mechs as much as possible, so if you see an enemy mech or an enemy player attacking your mechs, then you want to make sure you destroy them too. And then tell them to go home and cry to their mama, because, we don't play that game. So that's really important to focus the enemy mechs first, make them your priority. Defending your core. If you see that your core is getting low and your team's pushing for the win and it becomes kind of a race, you don't want to be in a race, but if you're in a race, then instead of being offensive, you want to switch to defensive and then quickly kill any oppressors you see, get them off the map, because that's what's going to win them the game. And the reason why I say go defensive is because offensively, let's be realistic, as a player, you're not going to do much damage to the enemy's core, so you're better off going to defend your base to keep them off of it. And you're going to do more damage to enemy players, and like NPCs say, like this mercenary here is trying to kill my core. All right, so we're going to talk about the what's what. So first we'll start with the mercenary. You're going to get that info right here. It's going to tell you whether he's on the north side or the south side. And whichever one he's on, you want to start on that direction. This is your fuel gauge. It's going to tell you how much fuel your team's got, and that is just your 4-man group, not the whole alliance. Pretty simply, like right there. And then middle. Middle is always like the big controversy, because they're not really sure, should I go middle, should I go not? All that information is going to be right here. What it is and how many people are on it, and what percentage it is until it's capped. When should you go to middle? You should go to middle every time, except for when it's Gobby Juice. Gobby Juice is for your limit break gauge, and it's really not that important, because as you're going to see, our limit break is going to charge very fast in Rival Wings, making Gobby Juice pretty irrelevant. So if you got, say, Solarium Tank, Gob Crate, you're going to go to the middle, and you're going to go hard. You want to win the mid fight, because not every time, but most times when you win the middle, you're going to win the match. Like I said, not every time, but most times. Pretty much any time I've won the middle, I've gone ahead and won the match, because it just shows your team's going to be the more dominant team, right? We're just asserting our dominance here. That's all it is. So Solarium Tank is going to fill your fill gauge. So if you do get Solarium Tank, then please don't go around collecting those little tanks, guys. Go to the middle, win the fight, win the Solarium Tanks, have plenty of fuel, right? That's really where it's at. Those little tanks give you 10, Solarium is going to give you a shit ton more. Plus, you're going to build your battle high, and you're going to tell the other team, hey, fucks, we're here to win. We're going to kick your ass. This is how it's going to be. Assert the dominance, throw down your Bahamets, let them know that this is your match, and you're going to win it, right? So, I mean, it does, like, that's what it is. It gives you whatever, like, say we're going to get the Solarium Tank, we're going to win that, we're going to get some battle highs, and we're going to let the other team know that we ain't fucking around. So, I mean, that's like triple-edged sword there, guys. Come on. Like, it's basic. It's basic, right? So, that's when we want to go mid. Everything but Gobby Juice. Skip the Gobby Juice. Fuck the Gobby Juice. Doesn't matter. Anything else, go mid. If it's Gobby Juice, then yes, go straight to the towers. Hit the Vikings on the way. Pick up the fuel tanks on the way. Kill enemy players on the way. But if it's anything else but Gobby Juice, then yes, go to the middle, pick it up. It's gonna help. Gob tanks are like really good, right? Gob tanks are NPCs that are gonna start on both sides. You're gonna get 2 of them, and they're going to push your enemy's towers, your enemy's Vikings. It's going to kill them, and it's going to keep your enemies distracted because they have to try to kill it. So it really is like an OP like thing to have. So anytime it's the gob tank, yeah, you fight your ass off for that, right? And same with the mercenary. If the mercenary is something you want to win, because once again he kills the Vikings, he does damage to the tower, and he is a distraction for the enemy team because they have to focus him in order to kill him, so he will stop doing bad things to you. So anytime you get a chance to get the mercenary or the gob tank, I highly recommend you go for it. It's going to help you in the long run. Alright, when defending your towers, you want to, make sure you focus those enemy mechs first. If there's no enemy mechs, go ahead and focus the players. As a player, you're not going to do much damage to the tower. Unfortunately, it's the oppressor's job, so if you want to do damage to the towers, make sure you or one of your teammates has an oppressor out to do damage to the towers. You can defend your little Vikings because they'll do lots of damage to the towers, and you can just kill enemy players. Get them out of here. Tell them, this is my tower and you don't get to have it. Also, escorting your mechs is a really good thing to do. You want to make sure that you can kill the enemy players and the enemy mechs. That way our friendly mechs get a chance to get to the towers to destroy them. Always focus the enemy mechs. Make that your priority all the time. Keep away from the mechs AoEs. They hurt, especially this one right here. That thing hurts. That thing's meant to kill you. Even in guard, as you can see, it still hurts. So be careful with those. Alright, as you can see, there's 6 seconds left on the mercenary, so it's time to go down there and kill that. Unfortunately, in this particular match, I do go down and fight the mercenary, but then I see a white mage, I get a little thirsty, I forget the mechanics, and I die. But I always say it's better to die to an NPC than it is to a player, because the NPC isn't gonna like sweep emote on me or anything like that, so it's okay, right? And in the long run, we win the mercenary and we get the job done. But yeah, just maybe not be so thirsty like I am in this particular clip, and you'll be all right. The mechanics aren't very overcomplicated. I just know that this beam right here, I'm like too close to the mechanic, and he just goes ahead and one taps me, and that's that. But we do win the mercenary, so the end result is good. I just take a big fat L on the forehead for it. That's all. No big deal. When to defend and when to be offensive is pretty easy. If you see that you're losing the race, say that your enemy's tower is at 100% and you're at like 60%, you definitely want to go defend your core, because you got to give your team a chance to knock down the tower or attack core wherever you're at. So I would say if your enemy's at 100 and you're at like 60 or below, then it's time to go defend, because the end game is the core, and if the core goes to 0, you lose. So I would say that would be the best time to go. So here you see I'm LBing the Vikings because, again, those little assholes do damage to our towers and they give me fuel. So I LB them all the time. My LB's up all the time. And Rival Wings Summoner is ridiculous. I have Bahamut and usually Phoenix up. Like, I'll drop my Bahamut and then usually have Phoenix up pretty much right away. And the higher, of course, you build your soaring stacks, the better that's going to get. And the stronger you get, and the harder it is to kill you too. So this is a pretty good example here. We're going to have the Mercenary and the Gob Tank at the same time hitting this tower. Which, I mean, it's a perfect example of how important these two things are to pick up. Like in mid-game, like it's let's say this, like when to go to the middle and when not to go to the middle in mid-game. If it's Gob Tanks, you go pretty much 80% of the time. The only time I would say you wouldn't go is if your core's at like 30%, maybe 40% or less, and then you just need to defend, right? You don't got time for that Gob Tank. It's going to suck if that enemy team gets that Gob Tank, because it's one more thing you're going to have to defend against. But if your core drops to 0, then the game's over, and it doesn't matter. Like, if you get that Gob Tank and your core's now at 2% because you weren't there to help defend it, that Gob Tank ain't going to do enough damage to tower or enemy's core to make that worth it. So it's a tough decision, but it really isn't if you think about it. Like, defending your core will probably take priority at that point. But if you're like, say like the match is at Like say like you're at 80% and the enemy's at like 100%. I would get the Gob Tank because I could really switch the momentum. That's a pretty good time to go get it. Like I would say that would be appropriate. But yeah, if your tower's like less than 40%, I would say focus on defending at that point. I mean, if one or two of your teammates go up there and try to take it or try to sneak it because nobody else has gone up there, that's fine. But I wouldn't commit more than that. I would say, you know, you see a couple people up there. Oh, that right there is the Brute Justice. That stun is nasty. I highly recommend you do not attack a Brute Justice face on. Highly recommend you attack them from the side. That shit is nasty. That beam is nasty. Like I said, if you touch that beam in any way from the Brute Justice, like if you put a fucking toe in that thing, you're dead, man. That Brute Justice is nasty. So, like I said, the oppressors for the towers, the cruisers are like to kill the enemy players and enemy mechs and whatnot. But that Brute Justice does both, and that beam and that stun, those fuckers are nasty, dude. Fucking Brute Justice OP if played right, but me personally, I can't play it right. So as you can see, we're winning by a mile. It's okay to go offensive. I'm even ignoring these Vikings at this point because what, a couple more hits and this thing's dead. Gonna drop the Bahamut here. Stay aggressive. Keep the pressure on these guys. Try to keep my mech alive. He died anyway. Instantly gonna get my LB back up here in a second, and I'm gonna try to drop my Phoenix real quick just to get that extra damage in. But we're gonna end up running out of time because, well, we won. Alright guys, I really hope this helped. I mean, you're going to get it the Illy style. We're going to give it to you like in cheek and tongue, or tongue in cheek. A little bit of bullshit in here, but I hope this has helped, guys. I will see you at the next one. Peace.